Democrats are searching for new leadership in the House.
And many prominent lawmakers aren't wasting any time in stepping up after Nancy Pelosi announced she will be stepping down from the speakership. It's the first time in more than 15 years that the Democrats will have a new leader. Pelosi's tenure at the helm spanned 4 presidential administrations.
CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane joins us now. Thanks for joining us, Scott. Democrats lost control of the House, and now they'll have new leadership. But where does that leave the party moving forward?
Well, it's impossible to immediately replicate Nancy Pelosi. Her stepping back from leadership poses some practical problems for House Democrats moving forward into the next Congress. She was far and away their most prolific fundraiser. She was potentially their best ever vote counter. They lose those 2 skill sets immediately. But we know who is vying to be her successor as what will be the House Minority Leader, the House Democratic Leader. It's New York City Congressman Hakeem Jeffries. Jeffries has been around for about 10 years. He's only served under a Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi. He will fill the void in leadership, but it's hard to fill those shoes, to raise the millions, tens of millions of dollars that Nancy Pelosi has raised for her party, and to, in a very narrow minority situation where just a handful of votes swinging either way can doom or pass legislation, it's hard to replicate her vote counting skills. This is something that will be a time of transition for House Democrats, and it could be a rough transition coming off of a historic House Speaker.
So, Scott, given all of that, in addition to Congressman Jeffries from New York, who else potentially is in contention?
The announcements just came down. Seeking to be the number 2 House Democrat is Katherine Clark of the Boston area. She would be, if she gets that job, the highest-ranking woman in Congress, accordingly, succeeding Nancy Pelosi in that sense. The number 3 position, pursuing it, is Pete Aguilar, a California Democrat who has served a lower-level leadership position in the past Congress. He may be the most famous face of all of these 3 because he was on that high-profile, nationally televised House January 6 Select Committee. This is unequivocally a newer, younger generation coming in, and the 3 leaders who are stepping back from their posts, not just Speaker Pelosi, but House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer of Maryland, House Majority Whip Jim Clyburn of South Carolina, said in so many words they are stepping back to open the door for a new generation of leadership. But again, all 3 of these new would-be leaders, if they are selected to succeed Pelosi, Hoyer, and Clyburn, will have to pick up some of the institutional memory these 3 are leaving behind, including their mastery of counting votes. This Congress really showed it, Elaine and Michelle. They had a very narrow margin this year in the majority.
Right.
They passed some big things.
Yeah, and you know, do they even have a class where they teach this stuff?
Right.
It's like, it's about tenure and you kind of learning from the people who came before you. There's one last question I wanted to ask before you go. You got an exclusive interview inside a secret FBI facility in Virginia. What more can you tell us about that?
Yeah, Michelle, we hope to show that to you in the next week. There is, in the mountains of Winchester, Virginia, a classified FBI facility that allowed our CBS News cameras inside. It is armed by robots.
Wow.
and FBI personnel as well. The FBI brought in 100 robots to help them organize all those tens of thousands of FBI files that have accumulated over the past century, from the JFK assassination to Al Capone to 9/11. They have lots and lots of paper. Now they have lots of robots to organize that. We hope to show that to you over the next few days.
Yeah, no red buttons to push, though, right, Scott?
No red buttons, no R2-D2, and nothing from the Jetsons, which I found disappointing. But they haven't ruled that out in the future.
Okay.
Still, sounds like something out of a Hollywood script. Cannot wait to see that story. Scott MacFarlane for us. Scott, thank you.